What am I showing you right now? Here is a newspaper called the Handelsblatt, or basically the trade paper, Germany's business and financial newspaper, Deutschlands Wirtschafts- und Finanzzeitung. Up front here you have RWE stoppt Großprojekt. RWE stops a very large project. You have a private company here that is going to be soon building the gigantic windmills. I think that's what they're called in English. I'm forgetting my own mother language here a little bit. And Germany has the plan by 2020 to be 20% energy independent. And that actually has increased lately. The original goal was to be 80% energy independent, coming from all natural sources such as wind, sun, or other solar, wind, and other type of energy sources, or water through turbines and other things like that. Through turbines or turbines? I'm really forgetting my language here. And since the Fukushima crisis happened in Japan with a nuclear reactor, Germany is even putting more pressure on itself to become energy independent and not to remain as so reliant on nuclear power. And just to think that this country will be 20% energy independent by 2020, 80% energy independent by 2050, and now the real goal is to be 100% energy independent, I believe, in the next few decades, basically because of this crisis. I think it's a little silly. I think that nuclear energy can be well regulated if it's controlled properly. There's not many earthquakes, tornadoes, or other natural disasters such as tsunamis or other things that happen in Germany very often. So I think to run away from nuclear so fast maybe is a mistake, because it could cause energy prices to go up, but at the same time it's an investment in the future, and when someone's truly energy independent, you're not reliant on others for your energy needs or energy sources, and it in the long run becomes a lot cheaper. There's going to be more and more people, and more energy is going to be needed, and when Germany can become 100% energy independent, hopefully by 2050 now at least, and original goal was 2050 for 80% energy independence, I think that's a good thing for Germany. Scanning here, this is the Deutsche Post. You would think that this is like the U.S. Post Office owned by Germany. It actually used to be owned by Germany, and everyone that worked there were official Beamten. I don't know how to say that in English. Official, I don't want to say officers, but employees of the government. But the Deutsche Post was sold maybe, I think 10, maybe it's even longer now, 15 years ago, to private hands, and now it's actually a lot more efficient. This truck that you see right here is not your typical mail truck. There's a poor older guy here bringing the mail into this place that has a Postbank, which actually used to be part of the Deutsche Post, I believe, as well as this bank of the postal department, and DHL and Deutsche Post. Inside of here, actually, if you look inside the truck, I'm not going to keep looking in there because the poor guy is doing his job. You have a lot of packages that are inside there. They're not your typical briefs, letters or briefs. Letters here are primarily delivered not by a big truck like this. They are to distribution centers, but when they're actually from these big trucks delivered to the main post office, people at the main post office get on bicycles, maybe I'll see one here today, and they deliver them to each of these houses or to each of these apartments, and that's a lot more efficient. You don't have mail trucks. You have mail trucks like the one you just saw here delivering larger size packages, more like UPS style, but the actual mail here is delivered primarily either by foot, primarily by bicycle, and even there's a cool story I saw where in the Spreewälder it's actually delivered by boat, or Kahn heißt es auf Deutsch. The name for it is called a Kahn. or ferry, I think that's what it's called in English. I don't know the exact translation, I just know what it is in German. It can be a problem sometimes, but just showing the efficiency of how things are ran here, and to compare that to U.S. standards where you have a post office that is losing billions and billions of dollars and constantly needs bailouts from Congress and the taxpayer. The privatization of the post office would be a good thing, and the fact that Congress will not allow it to try to become more efficient by maybe cutting back on service on Saturdays, that's just a tragedy. And the Deutsche Post here, I'll scan back in one more time. This is the definition of efficiency. Deliver larger packages with trucks to other distribution centers or to businesses like this, and other packages and other letters either with bicycle, on foot, or maybe with other smaller trucks. There is one problem with this. DHL is a partner of the Deutsche Post, and I saw a documentary, it's called in German Arbeiten als Paketsklave, to work as a package slave, and they showed how some of these drivers, if it says im Auftrag der Deutschen Post, in service of the Deutsche Post, if it says that, then some of these drivers are only earning about €5 per hour. They're not paid overtime, and they have to finish their route. So if their route takes longer than the 8 hours, they don't get paid anymore. They get paid for the 8 hours. If it takes them 12, then they're only making really 2/3 of that, which really is about €350 an hour, which if you, I guess, do the calculation there, it's about $5 an hour. So it's not everyone that are doing these jobs have it great by any means. Can they live from it? Yes. Do they get help from the state? Probably. But yes, so there's some pros and some cons, but that DHL is basically a cutthroat company that really takes advantage of their workers. I saw a really interesting documentary here, and it's not really any different than what I have to deal with in the fast food industry. I have to come to work about every day, about an hour and a half earlier than I need to, just to get my work done, or stay an hour and a half later than I should, just to get the work done in the, it's not possible to get done in the allotted time. And that's one of the negative sides here to Germany, is that I think there's a lot of productivity that's not paid or not, the people aren't compensated for. So just thought I'd do a quick little story here about how the energy is being set up here in Germany, and how the Deutsche Post is also working, and that is privately and much more efficient than in the US. And it's just sad, some of these DHL people, when I see their trucks, I feel bad for them. I know that they have a hard work. So I'm signing off. I'll be joining you shortly here from Friedrichstraße in Hauptbahnhof.